In practice, you will often access data sources that you have not created yourself. These data sources often must be adapted before they can be processed smoothly in Power BI. For example, certain fields may have an incorrect data type, numbers are still declared as text fields, or there are data duplicates, that is, two entries for the same process. Another common problem is that Excel spreadsheets often have headings and notes that prevent Power BI from processing the data, which means you must manually delete them. But wait a minute. The question is, does this tedious adjustment of data have to be repeated every time the data is updated in any way? Repeating this process of data transformation could get frustrating fast. Microsoft has come up with a clever solution for this. The individual steps of the data transformation, including the steps that Power BI does on its own, are logged and applied each time the data is updated. Let's take a closer look. I will now show you in which way the Excel data must be available and therefore open the Excel table. The entries in the table must be complete and correct so that you do not get any incorrect results later. This sounds trivial, but in practice it's not. Do you know the expression, garbage in, garbage out? If the data already contains errors, any processing of the data will also contain errors. For Power BI to recognize the data as a table, the data must also be formatted as a table. Nothing could be simpler. Here above, the command Format as Table does it with a single click. And then I can select a specific layout here. Excel now recognizes the data range and displays the data as a table. You should definitely name this table as it allows the data to be clearly assigned, especially if you have several data tables. It is much easier to work with tables that are named, like Revenue North America, rather than Table 1, 2, 3. The unique naming of tables also makes it easier to evaluate and find errors in the data source. Now I want to make sure that the data does not contain any errors. In tables, this works quite well with the filter. Oh, you see, there's something wrong. Delaware. That's not the right name format. Northern California is wrong, and also Washington. So I'll select the wrong entries, and now you can change it here to the correct abbreviation and then show all of them again. Let's take another look at it again. Oh, here at the back, something is noticeable again. The revenue is of course a number field, but here, a value is still indicated as a text field, but that must be a number field. Good. The sales region looks good. If you notice an error in the evaluations at a later time, you can change this in the data source, update the data, and the error is then corrected. One more comment. The data should not be summed in any way because this is something that happens automatically in Power BI later on. So, don't use pivot tables as data sources, but use the underlying data tables themselves. Pivot tables are already aggregated. However, we prefer to do this later in Power BI itself. In Power BI, there is even the possibility to unpivot. But of course, you can avoid this step by doing some preparatory work, as already mentioned. Okay, let's save the file, best, as mentioned before, in OneDrive for Business. The data is automatically checked once an hour for changes and updated in Power BI if necessary.